Hey everyone, I'm back for my Wednesday upload for Crawford Consulting, and today I wanted to provide some tips that you should be looking out for when you are interviewing with different companies. Again, just like the employer is evaluating your candidacy and your experience to see if you are the right fit, you are also evaluating whether or not they are the right fit. And sometimes that can be rather difficult, especially if you really do need a job and you may overlook certain things that happen in an interview. But I think it's really important to understand that not every opportunity is meant for you. And sometimes ignoring these red flags will actually put you in a position down the line where you are not happy at work. You may be terminated because you know, explanation of what the role is very different than what it actually turned out to be. And ultimately, you should be very comfortable with accepting a role and wanting to move forward and learn. So, the first thing that I will say is a red flag is rudeness. And by rudeness, by a recruiter, is showing up late, not understanding your background or skills, or not taking time to take a look at your application, take a look at your work history, and be able to ask questions based on that alone. That is a red flag because that means that recruiter is not paying attention and that they're looking to just fill this position as soon as possible, and that they haven't taken a part of that social construct that is an interview. What's in an interview? You are socially contracting with that person to provide information about yourself and then for them to provide information back to you. So that is a red flag that I would look for. The second red flag I would look for is inappropriate comments. This has happened to me before where I have been asked what my background is or if I plan on having children at some point. A very sexist comment, by the way. I don't think many men receive that comment. Things like that are not only red flags, they're actually illegal. And there are action steps that you can take to report a company who is asking questions that are protected by the law, because ultimately that could mean the company would discriminate against you. For example, if I say, yes, I plan on having a child in the future, they may choose not to hire me just because they don't want to have to deal with the maternity situation. So that is another red flag. A third red flag that is a really, really big one is if your recruiter ghosts you and you have to reach out to find out what happened. If a recruiter ghosts you, it's over. Don't reach out. Don't keep following up. They're not respecting your time. Therefore, that is not the opportunity for you. That is very indicative of the culture that that recruiter works in. And to just not have any reason outside of an emergency situation, which they should be reaching out to you anyway if there is an emergency situation within 24 hours to say, I'm sorry, I had a family emergency come up. May we please reschedule? Other than that, I would just move on because that is just not the type of behavior that's acceptable in an interview, nor is it respectful. So definitely watch out for that. The next one I would say is when the recruiter is giving you a rundown of the position that you applied for. If it is very different than what you have applied for and you have the actual role and responsibilities in front of you, as you should, because you should be studying for an interview, then that means the recruiter doesn't know what this role is. If the recruiter doesn't understand what the role is, how are they then going to transfer your skills over to a hiring manager for that position? And on top of that, it could mean that you would be doing very different work than what you signed up for, and that may not be your expertise. So it would create a lot of stress for you internally and externally because you have taken a position that really was a big question mark, and that is not something that's okay. Something else to follow up on is if a recruiter looks at your resume, gives you some feedback on it, and says, actually, I think that you're more of a junior role or you're more of an associate role. This isn't really the type of history we want. That recruiter in that moment has now rewritten your work history, and that is not acceptable. Everything that you've accomplished to date is important, and it's important for a recruiter to be able to look at that to see transferable skills, to see wins, to see how your skills will actually apply to their role. And if they are rewriting that, they are already dismissing you. Another tip that I wanted to provide is body language. Of course, people take notes, and many, many interviews now happen over Zoom. And if the recruiter doesn't say, hey, I'm just going to be looking to my left because I'm taking notes, please don't, take that as any disregard, but they are looking left without any explanation, then they're probably just going through the paces with you and they're not actually really intending to give you a role, give you a shot at that opportunity. And then a final red flag that I would say is if a recruiter says, how available are you? Usually you have to give 2 weeks notice if you are employed. And then also, how available are you on evenings and weekends? That's a red flag. You are contracted to do a job from 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, or whatever your schedule may be. But if they are asking for additional hours without any context and weekend hours, that is not something that you would agree to, because there's a real thing. Work-life balance exists, and it exists so that way we can be our full selves, show up to work with energy, and have those breaks. And if a recruiter is already setting the stage to say that a company will actually violate your boundaries and be calling you in that nighttime and be calling you on the weekend, then that is not a company that you want to work for. Again, it can seem very tempting. It may make you feel, oh, I'm really important and they would want to get my feedback and I'm willing to do anything to get this job. But in reality, it would actually create more problems and it would actually create solutions. So I do hope that this show, I do hope, please forgive that. I do hope that this short video gives you some information as you are going through and interviewing for different roles. And of course, if you do need help when it comes to soft skills, interview skills, professional development, coaching and mentoring about where you want to go, please reach out to Crawford Consulting. I started this business because I know that there's a lot of people out there who are doing things that they do not want to do, that don't make them happy. And that really is important. You want to do a job that's going to make you happy, because when you're happy, it brings out the passion in you, and that will make you do a better job at whatever company you've been accepted to. And of course, your mental health is really important as well. So I have kept my fees very, very low. I am willing to do a free 20-minute consultation. So subscribe to my website. It's ACC Consulting. So AC Consulting, all one word, .online. Subscribe, or you can send me a message here on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. I have all of those links and on my website and for ways for you to get in contact with me. I am very ready to help you succeed. I've helped about 10 people so far find roles, and that is just thrilling to me because it really makes me proud that coaching and developing, knowing that people are out there with great skills that are being overlooked, are able to find roles that are going to help them. So again, if you do need a little bit more help, and if you do need some time to just think through it or think out loud, I am here to help you. And I hope that this video was helpful and that you'll continue to engage with Crawford Consulting. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.